Warning, the stories you're about to hear are detailed accounts of shenanigans, pranks, and some mistakes that are meant to replicate the sort of discussions that veterans have when they reunite over a cold beverage and do not depict the professional daily actions of the military at large. We hope to make you laugh, but not to disrespect our proud men and women in uniform. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Cammo Comedy, where we take a humorous look at the lighter side of military service. We got a big show for you today, but before we jump into it, if you like what we're doing here, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, whatever they call it on your podcasting platform. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating, write us a review, as that makes us more relevant in the algorithm and boosts the overall visibility of the show. But word-of-mouth advertising is just so powerful, so if you tell some friends, I will love you forever. Okay, let's jump into the show. I am your host, Aaron Wolf. Just as a friendly reminder to the audience, we put out a new show every single Monday, so make sure you give that notification bell a nice tap. Give it a nice... Oh, come on.
Wow. That was a bad one. He's getting older.
Give it a nice tap so you don't miss a show. Also, we are doing laughter therapy on the show. We got a lot of military members who struggle with everyday life after service, and we're just here to share a laugh and remember the good times. And if you like what we're doing here and you want to keep us rolling, don't be shy about sending in your stories.
And if you haven't texted one of your friends lately, shoot them a message.
And if you're old like me, before all of this fancy stuff, write us a letter.
Yes. Outstanding.
We'll get it next year.
It doesn't take quite that long, unless they get it lost. Joining us today, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Old Iron Tits. Special guest, Murph. Murph, thanks for being on the show today, man. Now,
Iron Tits.
I will say, Iron Tits was the nickname given to General Matthew Ridgway because he always carried a grenade on his chest and a mess kit on the other chest. So they called him Old Iron Tits.
This was a real nickname for someone.
Murph got the nickname Iron Tits because his chest looks like deflated pancakes that were ironed down.
How rude, cheeks!
No wrinkles. Just smooth.
Smooth.
Old smooth tits.
I don't know. I got a better rack than my girlfriend. That's all I got to say.
Yes. Oh, yes.
How dare you? And that was the last time Murph got laid.
From his girlfriend.
Probably.
Yeah, from his girlfriend.
I'm going to hear about this, let me tell you.
Also joining us today is the man who taught me that when they say taste the rainbow, they are not saying to eat Skittles out of the hooker's beehole. Call sign Footloose. Footloose, thanks for being on the show today, man.
Thank you for teaching me.
I'm here, but now I'm sick.
Got to learn somehow.
The rainbow's all brown.
Gross. Those Skittles are used.
Just shooting out like a Gatling gun.
Oh, gross.
They've been at once.
That wasn't a Skittle, that was corn.
Also joining us today is the man who taught me that nipple meat is exactly the same thing as lip meat. So if you got crispy nips, make sure you use some chapstick on your crispy nips. Call sign Cheeks. Cheeks, thanks for being on the show today, man.
Hey, you're welcome, man. Vaseline has a lot of different uses.
Chapstick.
It's the same thing. It's all petroleum-based.
It all works as great lube.
Is that why you're wearing those cotton balls with tape over your nipples like Andy Bernard when he ran the 5K?
I'm uncomfortable with this line of questioning.
Is that...
Sounds like a lot of judgment coming from that
I
corner.
got pancake tits and cotton ball swabs over here. The most normal, the most normal motherfucker in the studio right now is Footloose. We have a problem.
That bar is extremely low.
We got to do better. Awesome.
He's not even wearing his Uggs.
I did curl my mustache for today, though. So
Nice. I appreciate that.
Oh, don't forget, folks, when you're ironing out your pancake titties and putting cotton swabs on your nipples to spread some cheeks and not hate.
Crispy nips.
Some crispy nips. Crispy nips and Skittles spreading cheeks.
Oh, my.
Send us your stories, bitch.
Please, we're running out of material.
Murph is regretting coming on the show today.
Yeah, Murph's like,
Already.
fuck this.
I took the bus for this?
Murph's too
Worst
old to drive. They took away his sedan license.
Worst field trip ever.
It was a short bus, too.
The bus is sitting in the driveway full of retirees.
Are we almost there?
They thought they were going to Denny's.
They go after the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got our first story today.
All right, what you got, Cheeks?
I have a Swede story.
Oh, yes.
yes.
Swede, you're a savage.
So
Sweet.
So this is in the mid-2000s when they were training up to do a deployment, all right? So Swede's unit had to go to Fort Pickett, Virginia.
Okay. That sounds terrible.
This is post-hugging Captain Cupid.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that's a good
those two-
callback for that show.
Yeah.
Good timeline to establish in our heads.
Yes,
here.
because those two have already established a relationship of some kind.
Not a good relationship.
Not a great one. Well,
But it is a relationship.
yes. It's important to note that Swede has somehow become Captain Cupid's driver.
Okay.
Okay. And it's a cold, rainy November night, and they're going out for like a night shoot. And they're driving on a range road. Okay. Now, in this truck is Captain Cupid, who's in the truck commander seat. So the front passenger side seat is where he's sitting. And then there's Swede, who's driving. And then there's another fella who's we're going to call Specialist Igor.
Okay.
All right. That was a name that Swede had given us for this guy because he says he was a thick boy. There's 4 C's in thick.
That is pretty thick.
And he had a crooked thumb.
That's so specific.
A crooked thumb.
Why would he call him Crooked Thumb?
I don't know.
They could have called him Tom.
I don't get it.
Tom Thumb. Because his thumb's fucked up. Why Igor?
Because he looked like Igor.
All right, fair.
So, they're in a soft-sided Humvee, all right? If you don't know anything about a soft-sided Humvee, it's basically like fabric or plastic wrapped around a Humvee frame, and there's no insulation. And it's a rainy November night.
Yeah, it's like tent material.
wow.
Yeah, it's like tent material. So, it's pissing down rain, and Captain Cupid is going on with his Captain Cupid spiel on how things are going to go, all right?
He's really trying to prime Swede to not fuck his world up.
Swede is over in the driver's seat trying to talk about anything else except for what Captain Cupid wants to talk about so that he didn't have to hear Captain Cupid speak.
It's a good strategy.
Swede tells us that he loves to hear himself talk. Captain Cupid does.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you meant Swede.
Checks out.
Now, if you've ever driven on a range road, you know that they're not paved, right? It's an unimproved, it's usually gravel and dirt and it's packed and there's a million fucking potholes all over the road. So it's not like it's a smooth ride.
Right, that
Okay.
checks out.
So Captain Cupid keeps cutting Swede off from talking. And Swede's retort was to start hitting the potholes filled with water.
Oh my God.
In retaliation.
Only on the passenger side.
Swerves to only hit it on the passenger side.
I could just see this in my head right now, just to see him talking, the captain talking, and him just saying, oh, you know what? Let me just cut the wheel over here. Boom. Okay, I love that.
That's exactly what was happening. So Captain Cupid, after about the third one, is like, Swede, if you don't stop hitting these potholes, I'm going to fucking kill you.
I love how petty this is.
Now, Swede knew that the TC door, so the truck commander's door, wouldn't close all the way at the bottom.
No.
So he's getting splashed.
Every pothole, water was coming in and soaking the pant legs and boots of the captain. So after being told he's going to get murdered if he keeps doing this, what does Swede do?
Twice as much, obviously.
Swede kept hitting him.
Off-road.
Swede hits another. He goes, sorry, I was trying to miss the other one. So Igor's in the back laughing his ass off because he knows exactly what Swede's doing.
As everybody.
Everybody knows. And once they get done and they get back to the barracks, Captain Cupid tells them, like, hey, fix this fucking door. Like, I don't want to get wet anymore, and if you don't fix it, I'm going to ruin your life.
Okay.
So Swede's like, whatever, I'll fix it by the morning. Igor and Swede head out to the motor pool that night, right?
Okay.
They start looking for doors that weren't messed up, and Igor tells Swede, hey, man, you be the lookout. I'll take the door off of this Humvee.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, let's be specific here. When you're saying looking for doors, these are doors that belong to other Humvees already. It's not like
yeah.
they have
Yeah,
spare
somebody
doors.
else's, yeah.
There's no door graveyard that they're going to.
You're going to the door store.
Not everybody in the audience knows that little detail. So
The door store is the motor pool, and it's other people's doors. So Igor takes off the door, and they get it put onto their Humvee. So their doors are fixed. They're good to go, right?
Okay.
They forgot to put the broken door back on the other Humvee.
Oh, no.
See, that is a rookie mistake.
Well, it turns out the door they took was the squadron commander's truck.
Yes!
Of course it was.
And the squadron commanders
Is a lieutenant colonel.
love this.
Yes. So the lieutenant colonel wakes up the next morning and he's like, fuck no. He calls all of the first sergeants and captains into a meeting. He wants to know who stole his door, and he's given the what for and what not. Captain Cupid knew exactly what had happened. So he comes back and he tells the platoon sergeant, hey, I need to speak to Swede and Igor. So he pulls him in. He's like, you dumb motherfuckers, if you're going to steal shit, look at the bumper number next time. But thanks for fixing my truck. And he's like, fuck the squadron commander. He's not getting it back. So it sounds like at least Captain Cupid's got a good sense of humor about this.
I think when you're going to manage somebody like a Swede, you kind of have to dial in your expectations just a little bit. Say, look, I'll take what I can get.
Well, when you told him to fix the door, how do you think he's going to He's going to go steal it.
The theme here is very specific instructions.
Well, yes.
Reminds me of like our last episode where the captain of the ship calls down to the gunner's mates and says, whatever you got to do, hit the fucking flying target. Okay.
Give them any leeway whatsoever, you've already failed.
Swede and Igor were like, I know which door's not going to be broken.
Nice.
I love that story. Thanks for sending that in,
Yeah,
Swede.
that was awesome, man.
All right, I got a story. This is a George story.
What you got, Murph?
If you remember, we had a George story. I call him George because he's a tanker.
Because he's curious.
No, he ain't curious.
Bi-curious.
He's just a tanker. So he's out during tank training.
Okay, so Army tanks.
Army tank training.
Gotcha.
When he was new. So they got a whole bunch of people that are just learning how to do all this tank stuff. And part of this is they got some senior NCOs that are involved that are the quote-unquote tank commander position and all this stuff. So they're doing this. So this is 3 weeks. They're out in the field.
Okay.
And this isn't out in the field every day and come back. This is out in the field.
Right. Which
Not
sucks.
Air Force field.
Not Air Force. No, this is
I was
Army.
kind of confused. So
No, yeah.
Footloose is like, I don't understand. Where did
the
they
field
sleep?
of the building, or
Yeah.
The yard? They were in the yard?
Yeah, no, they're sleeping in the tank,
Right.
in the field, under the tank, but not in a barracks.
Yeah.
You know, so
No jacuzzi?
and this is in the summer. So you know, inside the tank, you know, this metal tin can
Right.
that's sitting out in the sun, the inside tends to get a little warm.
Oh, yeah. It's not like they take a lot of effort to do like AC units in there or anything like this.
No,
they don't worry about your comfort inside of the tank.
That uses up too many resources.
Right.
So
Heat strokes are way cheaper.
well, yeah. I mean, you
Sad
can
but
you
true.
can replace a tanker quicker than you can
an AC
petrol,
unit.
you know, that's- so anyhow, they're out for 3 weeks. Now there's quite a stench at this point,
Oh,
yeah.
gross.
and they're heading back, and the NCO that's assigned to this particular tank they referred to as Big Dirty.
I was hoping you'd say iron tits.
No.
Big Dirty was his name.
Big Dirty. Now, not because he was a dirty individual, but dirty because he had every STD known to man.
Oh, no.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
dirty in the other way would have actually been an upgrade.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can handle BO.
Sergeant Syphilis over here.
Yes, I mean, you know, that's kind of.
But crabs run through a tank quicker than shit.
Well, and add to this, you know, a lot of the tankers aren't real big guys,
Right.
You know, because they got to fit down in tight spaces.
Yeah.
This guy was a big guy.
Oh, shit.
And he was one of these kind of guys that was just scary.
Okay.
You know, he had that
Because
kind
of
of
the
face.
STDs?
Well, might have been,
Pull
but
his
he had
pants
one of
down
these.
and chase you around.
Oh, what is it?
Had one of these faces that if he wasn't actively smiling, he looked like he wanted to rip the head off of somebody.
Okay. Wow.
So he was big and scary. I mean, in reality, he was a bit of a teddy bear, but he looked
Right.
nasty.
He had resting asshole face.
Yes,
Scary
exactly.
Gary, gonna sip for Herpal aids.
It looks like a corn on the cob.
Gross.
So they get back to where they're operating out of, and these are old World War I barracks that haven't been used on a regular basis, just like during the summers for training and special trainings and things. So it's not a regularly upkept place.
I don't think anything in the Army is.
Well,
to be fair.
I mean,
We don't have maids. We have privates.
yes. So they're all in the barracks, and the barracks is just a wide open space.
Okay.
And this place is so old that it doesn't have a latrine attached.
It just has a trough.
No, not even a trough
outhouse.
attached. So the latrine and the showers and all that stuff were across the way in a separate building, an old block building. Now the barracks are a little more modern. They're made out of wood. But
Wood and asbestos.
so they're all getting ready to go, and one of the guys that they referred to as Gypsy for some reason
His tears could cure AIDS.
Yeah.
comes walking by. He looks kind of clean, but not really. But there's an odor wafting with him. So Big Dirty calls him over.
Okay.
And he says, Gypsy, do you shower already? He says, yes, Sergeant. Come over here. And he pulls him down and smells his hair. And pushes him back, and he says, I don't smell any shampoo. We're all going to the showers, and you're coming with us.
How many stories do we have from Army guys showering forcefully together?
What is with you Army guys?
It's definitely a theme.
So they all go marching over to the showers.
Like sad little ducklings.
Now,
I gotta say, when Big Dirty says that you stink, that's gonna be a
No, you
problem.
failed.
but everybody all around was agreeing anyway.
Right.
So this block building, as you walk into the door, is an open room. On one side, you have a few urinals and a few toilets.
No dividers.
No dividers, nothing like that. I mean, that's fancy stuff for Air Force and Navy,
Why would you waste your money on a divider?
Yes. So on the other wall, a few feet out from the wall, are pipes coming down, and at the bottom of the pipe there's two shower heads, one facing one way and the other facing the other way.
This is all the same room?
This is all one room.
So George could be taking a shit and having a conversation face to face with
somebody taking a shower.
Right.
Yes.
That sounds
He
clean.
just
I mean,
gets up and dries off.
God.
Yeah, so you got about a dozen shower heads, but there's two at each point. So everybody is in the same room. Everybody's getting undressed, and everybody's soaping up.
Now it's a party.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm in.
So Big Dirty calls Gypsy over and says, okay, you're showering next to me.
God.
And
Don't
proceeds
touch me with that thing.
and proceeds to ration out his shampoo, his soap. So they made sure that Gypsy was properly cleaned.
This is an actual soap party.
Right.
Yes.
This is like a nicer version of, but not exactly nice. You know? That sounds terrible.
So there were no boundaries, obviously, in this training.
All of
episode,
them
yes.
broken.
They force cleaned Gypsy.
Yes, well,
That's fucking amazing.
Lesson learned, though. Make sure, like, when you actually have a chance to shower, make it count.
Alone.
Exactly.
if you don't do it by yourself, you're going to do it with a lot of friends.
Yes.
We'll be right back with more Cammo Comedy after a quick word from our sponsor. Stay tuned.
With Just the Tip Tactical, Just the Tip has never felt so good. Their top-notch muzzle brakes tame your rifle's recoil, keeping you locked on target and grinning like you just hit the bullseye in more ways than one. Say goodbye to kick and hello to faster follow-up shots. Check them out today at justthetiptactical.com. That's justthetiptactical.com. Whether you're looking to improve your rifle or just want some cool apparel with an eye-catching logo, go now to justthetiptactical.com. That's justthetiptactical.com. Enter promo code WOLF, that's WOLF, for 15% off. You can't beat that. And when you patronize the companies that sponsor us, it helps us pay the bills over here. So thank you for supporting the businesses that support us. Patriot Mobile. If you haven't made the switch yet, then what are you waiting for? For years, Patriot Mobile has stood on the principle that freedom is worth fighting for. These guys are legit and staunchly pro-military. Patriot Mobile supports all kinds of pro-military causes to include Warrior Rising, Folds of Honor, Boot Campaign, Tunnel to Towers, Soldier Strong, and Carry the Load. So don't support those big companies that don't got your back. Make the switch to Patriot Mobile today. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aaron, I like my coverage, and I don't want to drive to a shop and go through the hassle of switching my service. Well, good news. Patriot Mobile has better coverage because it's one of the only providers that can give you coverage on any of the 3 major networks. And it's not a hassle to sign up. Just call their U.S.-based customer service line at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Or just click the link in the description and sign up. It usually only takes about 15 minutes using an eSIM, and you don't have to drive anywhere. Now, if you're locked into a contract, not to worry, because Patriot Mobile has a buyout program of up to $500 per device. So call today, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Or just click the link in the description and make sure you use the promo code WOLF, that's WOLF, for 1 free month of service. Okay, let's get back into the show.
All right. Well, I have another story.
Okay,
from
what
our
you
friend
got,
Ed.
man? Nice.
Oh, God.
Now, just for those in the audience who might not remember, Ed was the guy that got kicked out of the Air Force Academy because he wore horse face underwear.
Yes. So this is a story from tech school. So right after the Air Force Academy forcefully made him leave, he didn't have to get kicked out of the Air Force entirely. They thought your shenanigans are good enough to be enlisted.
You're going to develop some stories for a podcast one day.
One day this will all be worth it.
Good for something.
So he's telling me the story of when he was in tech school, which is Air Force equivalent of AIT. So after basic training, you go to your technical training for whatever job you're doing. They determined that security forces is where he belonged. And so he got sent into this tech school.
That checks out.
Well, this guy knows all the shenanigans, so he knows what to look for.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
He's going to make a perfect NCO in security forces. So he's in class, and they determined he still was leadership material. He had 3 years of Air Force Academy training.
But they did not know how he got kicked out.
Yeah, I don't think he fully told him the story. He just said he was in the Air Force Academy. Oh, great. Well, you're almost an officer. You should be the class leader. So he became his class leader all through tech school.
That's a mistake.
no.
Which I don't know how they do it in the Army, but in the Air Force, they have the student leadership in your class all wears different colored ropes to represent, essentially, get used to training with rank. Even if you technically outrank the guy who's your class leader, if he's got the red rope, that means he's your class leader. He has positional authority over you. Your rank doesn't really matter.
My wife takes positional authority over me sometimes.
Yeah, see, it's just like real life. So he's wearing the red robe because he's the class leader. He had a guy in his class that they called him Napoleon because he looked like Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh. Yes.
Almost to a T. He had blonde, afro, curly hair, wore big, thick glasses.
Had a pet llama named Tina.
In short of that, he was everything a spitting image of this. Big mouth breather, kind of like an overbite, just aimlessly breathing during the...
I like your sleeves.
Always had tater tots in his pockets.
Just a lot of the same weird mannerisms. So this dude was he was very funny, but he was just odd, and he looked like Napoleon Dynamite. So basically everyone called him that. Well, one day, Ed and Napoleon all of a sudden get pulled out of class, like early on in the day. And mind you, these are classes everybody has to have to finish their training.
Right.
And so there's like the first class of the day, all of a sudden OSI agents, the Office of Special Investigations, like the criminal investigators in the Air Force, come in and call those two out specifically and pull them from the class, which are like, all right, that's kind of weird.
What are you doing off a set of Napoleon Dynamite? Get back on set.
We're not done shooting. But, everyone in the class, like, all right, maybe they decided to ask him something real quick. They never came back the entire day. So they missed that whole day's worth of training.
Well, that's a really good sign.
Which, is definitely good if that's who you got pulled out by.
Right.
So later that day, they see...
We heard about your horsecapades, sir. You're under arrest.
So they see Ed coming back to the dorms because at that time, again, everybody in the same flight all lived in the same dorms. They see him coming back. So when he gets back to his room, everyone crowds around it like it's story time. And they're all like, dude,
Because
what
it
the
is?
fuck was that about? Like, what happened? So Ed gets to go into this very long explanation of apparently there had been enough rumors going around and somehow made its way to OSI's office that both Ed and Napoleon were running an underground tech school sex ring.
Okay, so they obviously didn't know what Napoleon Dynamite looked like. You would think that would, like, what a thing to accuse this guy that looks like Napoleon Dynamite of.
That was everyone's initial reaction, was not the absurdity of it all, but they're like, really? Napoleon was who they thought was like your 2IC?
Guy's got to have a huge hog.
That's what it was. So they called it the purple ropes, apparently. The rumor was going around that in their off hours, if they were still in uniform, they'd throw on their purple rope, and that would be like almost like the pineapple on your door symbol. Like it's the underground symbol.
That's the pimp coat.
The pineapple, or I'm sorry, the purple rope actually doesn't exist.
No, this was 100% made up. He had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. And
of all the things to get accused for, I gotta say, that's not the worst thing to say, like, hey, you're a Mac like that where you can just have tons of ladies and whoever else.
And he was so confused by the whole thing, but they were dead serious about this. He thought they were just joking. And like
so during the interview, he's like, man, that's crazy. And he starts taking his pants off, pushing the nay button on his horse underwear.
He said it got to the point where they were separating them, like criminal interviews, like trying to get them to flip on one another. And like, one of you needs to tell us or you're both going down. And they're like, dude, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm actually a loser. Can I get back to class already?
I guess to the point where Ed told me that Napoleon was like breaking down and crying at one point, and he almost like shamefully admitted to them he was still a virgin.
Oh, no.
He's like, how could I be involved?
That's why I started the ring.
I wanted this to be my first time. But so Ed, being the smartass that he is, after this has been going on for hours upon end, being separated and questioned, he starts basically just taking notes. Like he's asking smartass questions like, oh yeah, so like how much was I charging for this? Did people say that seemed like a pretty fair price for admission? Or
he's like, you've just given me the greatest idea of all time.
Did we corner the market on base for this? Was there high satisfaction reports? Like,
yeah, what are the Yelp reviews on the sex ring?
But he's like, by the end of it, I felt like I was really missing out on an opportunity here. Getting money and getting laid all through tech school.
Nice.
So nothing ever actually happened to them because it was completely made up. But I'm like, how many rumors had to make their way to OSI for them to treat it this seriously? Like this was actually happening.
Well, yeah, also you would think, like, shouldn't OSI have a little bit more to go on? Like
that's
a video,
that's what
something?
Seemed odd. I mean, this was almost 20 years ago now at this point, but it was just like...
Somebody was absolutely doing this and using their names.
That's the only explanation. They had to have something more than just that to go off of.
Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Nice.
So yeah, you ever see the purple ropes around base? Just remember where it came from.
What's up? Okay, so I got the next story, and we got ourselves another Navy story.
All right. We've been getting more Navy stories lately. I like it.
Yeah. This story is going back to the early 1960s, okay? We've got one main character here. We're going to call him Frank, okay? Now, Frank is actually participating in a scuba course that is being put on by his Navy chief. This story takes place in Key West.
Does somebody get pissed on in this story?
No, that was an Air Force scuba story exclusive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was an exclusive Air Force experience. So Frank is out in Key West. He's participating in this scuba class that is being put on by his Navy chief. So they kind of sail out on this barge in the middle of Key West, and they're supposed to go underwater and swim and go through like different exercises and things of this nature, right? So Frank tells us that he's about 25, 30 feet underwater, and he's going through the motions and everything. And all of a sudden, he just feels, bah!
How do you feel that?
How dare you?
It was very intense. It's like Helen Keller.
He just feels the wind get knocked out of him. He got fucking hit with something. He said it felt like a grenade went off right next to him.
Oh,
right?
shit.
So he's all fucked up and disoriented. And he's remembering what his Navy chief had told him. Like, if anything like this happens, just take a second, make sure you get your orientation. He takes a breath, and his mouth just fills with water. So he's just okay, you know what? My fun meter is pegged. I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So he's able to get himself reoriented, and then he surfaces, right? And he's just all out of breath. Climbing back on the barge. His chief takes a look at him and says, "What happened to you?" And then Frank says, "I don't know, something hit me." And then his chief says, "That's because you're a dumbass."
What?
And Frank is completely dumbfounded. He's just like, what the fuck did I do, man? Like, I don't know. I just got completely almost drowned underwater. And what are you giving me shit for? His Navy chief says, "You didn't check your equipment, did you?" And he says, "Well, yeah, I did." And his Navy chief says, "Well, you might have checked your regulator. You might have checked your pressures. But look at these tanks." Now, back in those days, the scuba tanks were actually an assembly of 3 separate tanks, okay? And his Navy chief points out that there is a gigantic scratch down one side of it that was about a ½ inch thick.
Oh, shit.
All the way down. And it was really shiny. He says, "You see these tanks? A barracuda thinks that's a fish." So our friend Frank over here got fucked up by a barracuda that thought that his tank was a fish. So then the Navy chief says, "I bet you can catch him. Why don't you jump in and go find him?" And then fucking Frank's like,
Fuck that.
"Fuck that! I'm not going back in there. Are you crazy? I am done for the day. I am done." Right?
I'm done with the ocean. Fuck that.
Air Force
he got
is calling
attacked
me.
by a barracuda?
It was a huge barracuda, and they could be very aggressive. They usually don't fuck with humans. But one of the things that Frank learned is that barracudas are attracted to really like the shiny fish out there in Key West. So when he went into the water and he didn't check the side of his tank that had a nice shiny scratch on it, that set him open for a nice little attack.
Oh, geez.
That's way worse than getting pissed on.
Right?
Yes.
That's terrifying.
Exploded your tank.
If there was 2 lines to stand in, one getting pissed on while scuba diving and one getting attacked by a barracuda.
Fuck that. Piss on me twice.
Oh my God.
Holy. And he's like 30 feet underwater. It's not like a quick, 2-foot swim.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yes. I don't know that it busted his tank or anything like that, but
This is real life Jaws.
I mean, enough that it knocked the wind out of him.
Yeah.
Like, barracudas swim pretty fast.
They're
Just
fast.
Head on, boom.
bow. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So when you're going out there in the water and scuba diving, make sure that you check your equipment.
That's how Nemo felt.
I love that story.
That's wild. That is terrifying.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Cammo Comedy Show Podcast. If you like what we're doing here and you want to participate in this community, there are many different ways you can contribute.
First and foremost, tell someone about the show. Word of mouth advertising is very powerful, and we really appreciate you helping us out.
If you have any funny military stories of your own or know somebody who does, with their permission, of course, you can contribute those stories via email at stories@cammocomedy.com. That's stories, STORIES, at CAMMOCOMEDY.com. And if you're not too good at the internets, drop us a voicemail at area code 531-222-6146. That's area code 531-222-6146.
Yeah, and if you want to interact with us throughout the week, hit me up on my socials, Facebook and Instagram. Just look up callsign Cheeks.
We have a lot of big plans for this show. In building this community to support veterans, we will announce here soon. So stay tuned. All right. I'm going to go enjoy a nice pasta salad with a little mayonnaise later.
Okay, first of all, mayonnaise?
Why do you always have a problem with the way I talk?
There's a way you're supposed to say the word, Aaron.
Mayonnaise?
That's not it.
Panaz.
That's not fucking it, Aaron. That's not. Give us your money, bitch.
That's the wrong line.
That's for the sponsors.
Line? Text your friend, bitch.
Send in your stories.
Send in your stories, bitch.
How do you forget this already?
I'm retired.
He's playing with the plastic.
It's his disability.
Send us your stories, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. Today is the Cammo Comedy Iron Tits. Old, young Iron Tits. I have to say this again.
One room.
We got a dog barking. Hang on.
Stop it.
Sorry, Murph.
See, that worked.
Cut this out.
Shut the fuck up!
This would be good outtakes.
They listened. They both looked like, whoop.
Oops, you're home.
Murph, you were talking about they're going into the block building.
What the fuck's up, Denny's?